Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Sobari. Here I'm gonna read all my summaries from 1 to 6. Okay, I'm gonna read my summaries all of it. Summaries number 1. Summaries of the what is Islam. The word Islam is an Arabic word that means submitting and surrendering your will to Almighty God. Believe in God, believe in the angel, believe in the God revealed its books, believe in the prophets, believe in the day of judgment, believe in Qadar. Pillars of Islam. Shahadat, declaration of faith. Salat, the offering of prayers 5 times a day. Zakat, the welfare due to giving money to prepare for the poor. Saum, fasting during the month of Ramadan. Islam came to reform human society. The religion and the way of life is to bring the human being back to the natural state that is was originally created and of humanity, pity and best submission. The door to eternal paradise, the Quran has said, and give good news to those who believe and do good deeds, that they will have garden in which rivers flow. Alhamdulillah. Okay, summaries number 2. How to build a better education system. Jigsaw classroom. Findings. In the earlier 1970s, in the wake of the civil rights movement, educators were faced with a social dilemma that had no obvious solution. All over the country, were intention efforts to disintegrate America's public schools were leading to serious problems. Ethnic minority children, most of whom and previously attended several underfunded schools, found themselves in classrooms composed predominantly of more privileged white children. This created a situation in which students from affluent backgrounds often shone brilliantly, while students from a privileged background often struggled. Of course, this difficult situation seemed to confirm age-old stereotypes that blacks and Latinos are stupid or lazy, and that whites are pushy and overly competitive. The end result was strained reason between children from different ethnic groups and widening gaps in the academic achievement of whites and minorities. Drawing on classic psychology research on how to reduce tension between competing groups, Harriet Ranson and colleagues realized that one of the major reasons of this problem was the competitive nature of the typical classroom. In a typical classroom, students work and assignment independently, and teachers often call on students to see who can publicly demonstrate his or her knowledge. Okay, significance. When properly carried out, the jigsaw classroom technique can transform competitive classroom in which many students are struggling into cooperative classroom in which unstruggling students show dramatic academic and social improvements. Practical application. Since the demonstration in the 1970s, jigsaw classroom has been used in hundreds of classroom settings across the nation, ranging from the elementary school, where it was first developed, to high school and college classroom. Researchers know that the technique is effective, incidentally, because it has been carefully studied using solid research technique. For example, in many cases, students in different classrooms who are covering the same material are randomly assigned to receive either traditional instruction or instruction by means of the jigsaw classroom. Okay, summarize number 3. In article digital Commons at University of Nebraska, Lincoln, write by Ledeny Kramer, Moller, and Teresa Catalano, entitled Arranged Language Teaching and Learning. A language is considered foreign if it is learned largely in the classroom and is not spoken in the society where the teaching occurs. Theories of language learning, foreign language learning and teaching, have undergone a significant paradigm shift as a result of the research experiences that have expanded the scientific and theoretical knowledge. Theoretical knowledge based on how students learn and acquire a foreign language. Traditionally, learning a foreign language was thought to be a mimetic activity, a process that involves study repeating or imitating new information. Grounded in behaviorist theories of learning, theoretical linguists said the quality and quantity of language and feedback were regarded as the major determinants of language learning success. Emphasis in second language research and teaching. Research has revealed that knowledge of language structure demonstrated on discrete points does not ensure communicative ability when the measure of language knowledge is one of more spontaneous language use. Further studies have shown Further studies have shown that there is little correlation between the rules learners are taught and their developing knowledge of the second language. Learner-centered instruction. Two communicative approaches, the input model and the input interaction model, represent two models of foreign language theory and teaching that investigate the language acquisition process from the perspective of the learners. Gresham is the principal advocate of the input model of foreign language teaching. His story is grounded in Chomsky generative linguistics. Research on the effectiveness of different second or foreign teaching methods and research on affective factors. Learning and measurement. Language teaching has experienced numerous curricular innovation in response to the importance of providing students with opportunities to acquire and practice the foreign language and contextualized and meaningful language communicative text at all stages of the second or foreign language acquisition process. Communicative language teaching, the term most associated with current discussion of methods, emerged as the significant approach that found universal resonance and support in theory and application in many contexts and across disciplines. Intercultural competence. Increasingly, language education content that foreign language should increase students' intercultural competence, which would allow them to see relationship between different cultures, mediate across these cultures, and critically analyze cultures, including their own. Foreign language. Future direction. One area that remains controversial in the world of foreign and second language teaching today is the question: is native like attainment a desirable goal in the global world we live in today? In the field of English as a foreign language, the question of whether speakers should conform to native speaker norm English in light of its increasing use in international context has been widely debated in recent years. Okay, summary number 4. This abstract. E. coli is the major bacterial platform for example, heterologous proteins. Growing E. coli to high densities has been the subject of numerous studies since the early 1970s, exploring the limits of bacterial culture density in order to achieve maximum productivity. Research strategies were focused on improving the cultivation technique, manipulating the bacteria, physiology, or both. These growth strategies, together with optimization of media composition and application of molecular biology methods, made it possible to grow E. coli to cell densities of up to 190, while avoiding media preservations and preventing set accumulations. Summarize number 5. Ading Mokhtar Ghazali published his journal article entitled "The Concept of Tolerance in Islamic Education" on Journal of State Islamic University or UIN, Sunan Gunung Jati, Bandung. This article aims to discuss comprehensively the concept of tolerance in Islam, later taught in such a way that the concept can be applied operationally in Islamic educational institutions, such as madrasah, Islamic boarding school, and college. Method and approach used to address this issue are philosophical and the sociology of education, one of which is the theory of inclusivism, Merka'ilate. In Islam, different tribes and even religion refer to fitrah and sunnatullah of God as will. The result Islam doctrine for harmony is one of actualization of tasamuh, since the harmony of religious life is one of tolerance form taught by Islam. So it must realize in societal life in the context of plural Indonesian people in form of tribes, cultural religions, principle and attitude of life for mutual aspect, understanding, corporations, fair, honesty, accountability, integrity, and the truth that human as religious creator and which everyone has right to choose different faith. It becomes basic principle and developing the united, harmonious and civil society, the consciousness of Allah. Existence shows the unity of God, which becomes primary element in developing harmony among religious adherents. Relationship aspect shows that Islam puts forward universal unity, whereas harmonious character refers to practical value and as the extension of the previous aspect. Islamic education must be able to bring its students to medicate and inclusive religious understanding. Islamic education demanded to be responsive against the moderation which have been existed in general school institution under Ministry of Education, besides developing sensitive character towards the change through corporate learning strategy and develop children's psychosocial condition at almost modernized learning facilities, improvement, and other supporting factors, including the involvement of parents, government, society, and the education holder. Thus, it is expected that Islamic education in Indonesia can promote the develop and implement education and learning model to strengthen inclusive Islamic education system, which is open to dialogue and student-centered. Okay, the last is summarize number 6. Summarize 6 in the short story American literature written by H.P. Lovecraft entitled entitled The Terrible Old Man. It was the design of Angelo Ricci and Joe Krasanik and Manuel Silva to call on the terrible old man. This old man lives all alone in a very ancient house on Water Street near the sea and is reported to both exceeding rich and spending people, which form a situation very attractive to men of the profession of Mr. Ricci, Zanuck, and Silva, for that profession was nothing less technical than robbery. The inhabitant of Kingsport say and think many things about the terrible old man, which generally keep himself from the attention of gentlemen like Mr. Ricci in his colleges, despite the almost certain fact that he hides a fortune of indefinite credit somewhere about his misty and venerable abode. As a praying the three planters started out separated in order to prevent any evil and that suspended after Mr. waiting seemed very long to Mr. Zanuck. As he faced rested in the covered motor car by the terrible old man back in Ship Street, he was more than ordinarily tender-hearted, and he did not like the hideous screams he had heard in the sand house just after the hour appointed for the death. Mr. Zanuck did not like to wait so long in the dark in such a place. Then he sensed soft street or trapping on the walk inside the gate, her gently pumping at the rusty latch, and saw the narrow, heavy door swing inward. Okay, maybe that's all from me. I read all the summaries from 1 to 6. Okay, my name is Muhammad Sabari and thank you for watching.